Thank you for joining me. My name is Dr. Anthony Francisco. This presentation is on rebranding student support services for our public schools. The COVID-19 pandemic ushered a great reset of the public education's delivery of services. Quarantine forced the detachment and dependence of an outdated industrial paradigm to reset the calibration of delivery of academic instruction and student support services to more accurately reflect the information age. The more simplistic industrial era prepared students via rote learning for future work in factories, for mundane manual labor. However, well into the 21st century, information, social movements, and artificial intelligence in a vastly more complex system requires the delivery of education and services to reflect the current needs of American society. Students and families require a comprehensive yet personalized and proactive needs-based system of support from schools. Some families welcomed distance learning, some struggled to adapt, and a minority gave up altogether. To support teachers, families, and students, urban public secondary schools are typically equipped with administrators, administrative assistants, nurses, social workers, guidance counselors, psychologists, deans, and even student support interventionists. However, in many cases, a contact from the school has traditionally been viewed as a cause for concern. Schools and families struggle to divorce themselves from the old relational paradigm that typified levels of defensiveness and castigation. Decades that reinforce this sentiment has made it a challenge in the information age to reverse this narrative. But the sudden global pandemic compelled school districts and schools to rebrand their services. Schools that welcomed this imperative will work to gain trust and establish genuine partnerships with families to increase student success. Schools that do not welcome this opportunity may experience students with lower academic achievement and attendance. Student Support Services has a vision: non-instructional staff's collective and proactive mitigation of student learning loss to increase academic achievement via frequent student and family route analysis, action planning, and check-ins. It's also to empower and equip families to welcome, expect, and support frequent student support service interactions. What are the benefits of rebranding? It's to reduce unproductive tension, increase productive conversations and problem solving, arrive to mutual plan of action faster, increase academic achievement and attendance, and increase empathy on both sides. The Student Support Services team requires rebranding campaigns, and that starts internally. Internal rebranding starts with the leadership, administrative assistants, medical personnel, counselors and therapists, and the faculty. The external rebranding includes the students and families. Our core message is distance learning has its challenges, but you're not alone. Let's help you by partnering together to increase student success. Our student support services for distance learning is available. Please contact us today. We use promotional materials, flyers, refrigerator magnets, as you see here on the left-hand side, hangers, YouTube presentations, social media, Twitter, Facebook, the school's website. Student Support Services offers technological support, virtual conferences, check-ins, counselings, and therapies, home visits, and even parental support. Incentives and rewards are part of this system of student support services. But there's an order of contact that needs to be adhered to be effective. First, students must be the focus of the conversation, giving them a chance to speak and express themselves through student conferences and short-term follow-up. Family virtual conferences is also initiated after a conference with the student and short-term follow-up. Only after these two steps have been fulfilled, conferences with the student and the family, should a home visit be made, where all administrators and staff receive an email of the list of students that are scheduled to receive a home visit, so that it gives a chance for everyone to have a collective conversation and also to provide each member of our team, including the faculty, a certain level of knowledge to guide their approach. Again, there's a point of contact, an order of business that needs to be adhered to propitiate parents and guardians. That is to disarm them, to rebrand the reality that we're here to support the student and family during these difficult times, and to dispel the idea that our contact is an indictment on their parenting or the student. We want to gain a partner. If a parent gives thanks and looks forward to our services by the end of the interaction, by the end of the call, then we have done our job. The first thing we want to do before we get to the root of our conversation is to update our records by asking a simple question. Do we have your current address and email and telephone on file? Are you receiving our messages? The second thing is to survey the technology needs. Do you have access to your student or parent account? Do you have any Chromebook issues or internet issues? And then we want to go to the next level, which is surveying the distance learning experience, asking the parent for his or her perspective. And if the student is not in the conversation, we want to invite the student in the conversation. It sends a message to the family that this is all about the student. We're focused on the student. After we survey the distance learning experience, we want to go to the third level, which is getting to the root of the issue using data, grades, attendance, and we also like to lead with questions. Typically, students in transition from the elementary to the middle school or from the middle school to the high school, they need these questions asked. Do you know who your guidance counselor is? Do you use your email daily? Do you use your Skyward daily? We suggest you leave your Skyward tab open during your Google Meets. And before the end of the interaction, we want to remind the student and family that we'll try to follow up as soon as possible. So when we do follow up, it's not viewed as harassment or an indictment, but it's viewed as supportive. Now we can get to disarming for root analysis and action planning through this objective. We want to draw out a confession in our conversations from the student and the family so that they can articulate the issue. We may not even know what the issue is ourselves. So we want to use this to formulate action steps and to help the student to improve. We want to lead with a question. Keep the action steps to a minimum so we can see the improvement and then add additional steps as needed, similar to the SMART goals. Remember those? Specific, measurable, attainable, and time-bound. So part of disarming, part of the disarming stage or the propitiation stage is to praise the family and the student. Just to mention the class that the student is passing or asking, say, what's the secret to your success? Then the student may actually articulate strategies that could be useful for addressing the core issue that we called about, namely failing a class or having issues with attendance. We could even praise for attendance trend in the class, or maybe overall multi-month trend, a short-term improvement, or consistency in certain classes. The student support services team has to address questions. Here are some typical questions that I asked that need to be clarified and addressed. What is my progress? What's my attendance? Or what's my child's progress or attendance? I don't know where we stand. How do we monitor? Question. Do you have access to your student or parent account? And get right into confirming their email address. Do you ask at least one good question to help you learn better? We know that all excellent learning is most powerful when the question is born from the student. It's higher order thinking. Metacognition. Student grades and attendance, they're fine. Why are you contacting us? Well, we're student support services for distance learning. We understand that distance learning has had its challenges, but we're here to help. We're available for support. Is there anything that you need? Do you have any questions for us? Why did I get a visit? Well, we're from the Student Support Services team for distance learning and understand that distance learning has its challenges. We used to meet at the school, but that's not possible right now. So we're trying to provide a personalized student support services experience by visiting on the porch. We don't go into the home. Do you have any technical issues? How's your distance learning experience been for you, your student? We use all the social distancing protocols, 6 feet, masks, less than 15 minutes, and we'll continue to use the point of contact order of business, then get into the root analysis. I attend all my classes. I do all my work. Why do I have so many absences? Or my child? Why does why is this happening? Question: do you log on to the video conferencing Google Meets in the morning at the top of every class? Do you ask at least one question to help you learn better? You see, this is an important question because teachers may ask questions, but a question born from the student is the center of all learning. It shows is two things here. One, it shows that the student is taking a proactive approach to his or her learning and is not a passive learner. The second um, reason why this is an important question in our interactions with families is uh, it can also be used uh, to as evidence that the student to as evidence for student attendance, whether he or she was there or not. If a student enters even in the chat box a question or a comment, that is powerful for those two purposes. There are tools that prioritize our work, so we try to be as effective as possible in working together. We use what's called a master tracker, which is backed up weekly, and it has the name of the student, root cause and resolution, grade, absences, home visit, correspondence, and contact information. Let's go to the second one, which is root cause and resolution. This is important because we keep it brief to inform the whole team and the school. Faculty can view it. They cannot edit the master tracker, but they can view it so that it can guide their approach. We don't dig deep into details. We keep it brief and to the point. Every day we do have a daily absence mitigation strategy. Okay. And here's our approach. The objective is to make contact with a person before 10:30 a.m. by exhausting all contact numbers in Skyward or whatever um, student information system is being used to mitigate another possible absence towards chronic absenteeism, or 18. We send monthly absenteeism letters. We update it daily. There are occasional errors, and so if we enter into an interaction and it's because and our approach is erroneous because of some errors, well, quickly follow the point of contact for our business and disarm for root analysis, and we can salvage that relationship and build on it. And we comb the attendance records in Skyward or the student information system, and we adjust those. Lastly, the last slide. These are the tools that help us in our work. Apart from the master tracker, which is used, um, we use Google Sheets, Skyward, Google Meet, Gmail, and our robo call or robo email system. My name is Dr. Anthony Francisco. Thank you for joining me in this presentation, Student Support Services, rebranding of these services for our schools. Thank you and have a good day.